Hey, fellow Legionnaires. How's it going? Welcome to
Hey.
episode 1 of Legion's Lounge, the new Mythic Mondays. Still on Mondays, same time, same two beardy, gray beard, goatee guys. Welcome. Thanks for coming. Really appreciate everybody stopping by. We got a really cool show tonight. I want to introduce my co-host, Nate Strong, Corona 4, on
Thank you,
Instagram.
Trevor. Hey, everybody. Great to be here.
It's so nice to be here, man, on YouTube. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is excellent.
Yeah,
and big props to Trevor for the new logo. It looks awesome.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, you can see the glow coming off me from the neon sign over there on the side. Yeah, I mean, we loved Instagram and the people and getting some people on. We're still going to do that kind of stuff, but it was a kind of a limiting format. We didn't have the replays that people didn't get to see it live, didn't get to see the chat and things like that. And this is just a more polished way to do this. So we're excited. And besides that, the name Mythic Mondays, we're not just in Mythos anymore, kids. We're in Cosmerium. We're in space. We're floating. We're out there.
Indeed.
With Captain Kirk.
Yes. So Legion's Lounge, that leaves us open to all kinds of legions.
That's it. Yeah. Cosmic legions, mythic legions, underwater legions.
So grab a drink,
air legions,
belly up, and hang out.
Yeah. Get a drink. All right. So, let's see who's in the chat here. Walter's been in the chat for about an hour now.
Walter, David, what's up, JD?
Walter
guys?
the Mad, purveyor of the
Mr. Allen.
Cabal. Go join the Cabal on Facebook. Mr. Allen, what's up, Mr. Allen?
Awesome.
Jorge, David Smith, JB Gibson, Dave Orkin, Mickey B Collects, Jason Gambrel, JD Gibson, I think I said. Cool. We got some people in here.
Right on.
Nice. Thanks for everybody for coming. Where's the spoose at? Yeah, I know. Space Moose. I got to think. Well, we're going to have the man on. We can talk to him about the Space Moose if we have to. I really don't want to, but we can if we want to. Anthony staying up. There he is. What's up, Jeff?
Proud.
What's up, Pablo?
Fresh off a workout, I hope.
Yeah, really. And some coffee.
Yeah.
All right. Without further ado, I'm going to bring our guest on for tonight. He was graciously agreed to come on at the last minute because I didn't know that the Slog head was going to be. I didn't know we were going to hit the level today, and that the Slog head was going to be revealed. So it's perfect timing.
Trevor, we had this planned all along. This has been.
Right. No. Yeah, I'm sorry.
We totally.
I'm tired. Yeah,
it's all right.
Everything was planned. We've worked everything out to the minute.
We haven't been able to shoot much because we've just been working on schedules and just a lot of itineraries and
Exactly.
Exactly.
All right, let's bring the man on. You all know him. You love him. Four Horsemen's lead designer, creative genius, world builder. It's Eric Treadaway. There he is, live in the flesh, in his office.
How's it going?
How you doing, man? Thanks for coming on, man. I really appreciate it. It was a little last minute, to be honest, but it worked out perfectly because this is the day we hit the level for the Slog head, which looks amazing. I'm just going to pop that up if I can.
Somebody has pissed off the warden.
That's right. Oh boy, hang on a second. Give me a second here. Let's talk amongst yourselves. Okay. Oh God. Okay.
So what's today? Today's the 11th. So we've got to the 24th, I think, right? There it is.
There he is.
So I was just gonna say we've unlocked the 4th tier with what,
Yep. So this is
a couple weeks left to go. So
this is it. These are our tiers, right, Eric?
Yeah, they're as far as the meter is concerned, we've unlocked everything on the meter. That doesn't necessarily mean we're done, though.
Oh, you heard it here first.
Exciting.
We put a little language in the post where there's a little more that we want to do before we end this sale. The support's been tremendous for the line so far, and people have really taken to it in a way that we hoped would have been the case, but you never know. And we want to make sure there's something a little cool for people in this home stretch here.
Nice.
This one here, the Slog head, though, this is a big one. We had purposely saved this unlock for the last of the four, because not only is it just it's a very a very important now part of this set with Slog. It really shows an entirely different side to his expressiveness, and just his a lot more emotion in this face. But it's also actually it's a large chunk of plastic too.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I think people are seeing this, and I don't think you get. It's we have something coming up that may give you an idea of how big he is, but it's tough to, once you get it in your hand, you see how big this head is. It'll fit in your palm like this. It's big, man. And I love the depth on this mouth. I love this head. This is so great. This is I don't know. I love Ziri, so that was a great extra. That was a great bonus, but this has got to be the bonus of all bonuses. This is fantastic.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's really kind of a cool, looking at the two head ads on this one. It's really a very Beauty and the Beast sort of a combination.
Yeah, exactly.
Talking about the size of this, I don't know what the exact calculation would be, but you could fit a large number of Ziri heads inside of the Slog head. Just talking about mass of the head.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, ball your fist up, your average fist, and you're talking about that's that's the size of that head, man. It's big.
It's insane.
I
love the what's that would be the left eye, how it's closed underneath the scar there that runs across his face and head.
I know that's just a great detail too. Just something to take it from being symmetrical and sort of quote unquote perfect to really just adding more to the story. And speaking of story, I gotta tell you, not blowing smoke up your ass, but your world building. I was just rereading Cosmerium, the lore, and it's great, man. Your world building is good. That is not an easy thing to do. I think a lot of people start out trying to write some stories and things like that, that are into fantasy or sci-fi. And you get to a point where it's well, all right, I really got to think this out. You know what I mean? I got a couple of characters, and I got a couple of, races or types or religion or something behind it. But that, that gets deep. And, I know the way you've gone with Mythos and with with Mythic Legions, that I think Cosmic Legions seems even deeper the way it's going.
I was going to say too that some people can world build, and then some people are good at taking that down to the minute detail with each figure. But you can do that. You can do both, and then make them real. Make them 3D. Make them so we can bring them home and pose them and take pictures of them. It's just what you do is amazing.
Thanks. The world building part of it, I think, is really what a big part of what distinguishes working on our own projects from doing, the licensed product for clients, because the sculpting and like figure building part of it is, similar in a lot of ways. I mean, you don't have, you're not being edited here or sticking to a pre-existing idea
Right.
of what the figure should be.
Right.
But there's similar terrible with words. I don't know what it is.
Right.
But
It's
it's a similar process, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
But the world building is, that's what takes it so much deeper. And that's the sort of thing that, I'm thinking about that when I'm going to sleep at night or in the car or whatever. And it's really enjoyable to do that. And it's, and it takes a lot of time too.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Oh yeah.
Like it's something that, at least for me, like it's hard, like I can't really force it. It's something that like a lot of it happens very organically. And then a lot of times working on the figures, then in turn, like some of the world building is laid out, but then once you get into those details on the figure, that starts to inform the storytelling. And so
I can see that.
It's almost like a lot of the like kind of groundwork needs to be established, but then for me at least, like I need to get into the sculpting so I can finish, because otherwise, like that's where a lot of like the real like the real juicy parts come from. Like that's where the real specifics of the characters start to show themselves.
Yeah. So as
Eric,
you're designing these, I'm sorry, go ahead, Nick.
Well, I was just going to ask real quick. You'd mentioned ideas pop in your head right before you go to sleep, or when you're driving, or or whatever.
In the shower for an hour.
Yeah. Do you keep stuff like notes in a notepad or on your phone, and then do you take them all and do you have like a Cosmerium Bible or a Cosmic Legions Bible that everything goes into? You just keep adding on to, or is you got sticky notes everywhere? What's your process when you work?
More like the sticky note.
Okay.
It's definitely like I mean I have on my phone, I've got lists of names that are like hundreds of names long, and then I've got another list on my laptop, and stacks of drawings, and like when it comes time to actually make the series Bible, and we've gone through this with Mythic, the challenge then is taking all of those elements and just pulling them together into something a little more concise, because it's all up in my head, but like to getting it out on paper so that other people can understand it.
Right.
That's a different story altogether.
Yeah, really.
Maybe Jeremy Gerard helps with that.
Flesh that out a little bit.
At least putting it on the website for all of us to digest. He does such a good job with that.
Jeremy's great with that, because and I mean, this is with a lot of our collaborators that like we find we've been lucky enough to find so many people that are talented at what they do, from a professional standpoint, but then they're also like familiar enough with what we do and the lore and all that, where they have an insider look, but also like a little bit of an outsider look. And then like in Jeremy's case for writing the article, like the blog posts and articles, it's great because he straddles that line so well that he knows the questions to ask or the information to ask for, and
to pull it out of your head.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. He's a good, kind of an editor that way.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Have you
Definitely.
ever, and I'm sure Trevor, we both come from a little bit of a creative background too. And I've had many nights where I'm laying there trying to think of ideas, and I'm like, oh my God, that's awesome. And it's so good. There's no way I'm going to forget that when I wake up in the morning. I'm like, I don't have to bother writing that down or put it in my phone. I will definitely remember it. And then I wake up and I'm like, God, what was that? What did I? And it's poof, gone. Maybe it wasn't that good. Or I have to convince myself. Must not have been that good.
That's always frustrating.
Yeah.
Do you, so as you're designing these, is that something that, I guess as you're going along, I guess that's what you were that's what you meant. Like you're going back and forth, like you're adding some sort of element to a figure, and suddenly that's like, oh, that could be the reason that X occurs, or the whole gist of this story, that we're talking about here. Just informing elements of the figures, I guess.
Absolutely. I mean,
And
a good example, since we're talking about Slog, like I knew a lot of where Slog was coming from, and the fact that his suit was integral to his character development, and that it had a life sustaining element to it. But as working on the figure, like I knew what the texture of the head was going to look like, but then the as the texture started to come together on him, that's where I began to realize this idea of the parts of his body that aren't under the bubble having been exposed to atmospheric conditions that basically hardens his gelatinous kind of sluggish.
I love it.
Like then as soon as like that came to be in the sculpture, then that started to filter its way in immediately to the storyline. And
that's awesome.
So cool.
Yeah, things.
So it goes both ways. The story dictates the character, and then once you start working on the character, it might reverse back into changing the story up in ways.
Absolutely, and that's
excellent.
It's a matter too of having a clear idea of where it needs to go, but also remaining flexible enough to let it change and let things happen in an organic way.
Right.
That's awesome.
I was just thinking, speaking of size, I think we got to start doing some sort of shot like they do on Sideshow, where they show it against an apple. You know what I mean? How big this thing next to an apple? Like maybe in our case, it's like a lime or something like that. But he's massive, man. And the detail in this sculpt is it's so cool.
Oh, the details in is everywhere on him. I mean, his all of his equipment and his it's amazing.
Love these things. Love these little things in here. It's got to be so much fun. We all know
from experience, or at least those that have been in the mythos, we can appreciate it in this form, but until you get it in hand, it takes it right.
Oh yeah, let me tell you. I mean, this thing is going to be amazing in hand. Just even look at the texture on the clothing and stuff. The suit itself, this is great.
And the paint,
really amazing stuff.
Awesome.
This is one that, like, I mean, this whole line in general, but this figure in particular, like, I'm just dying to get this in at least test shot form.
Yes.
It's like, I mean, as a toy, it's just going to be fun to play with, pose, and he's a deceptively articulated figure. Exactly.
I was trying to describe that to some people on one of these things that I've been on. He really, really moves well for as big and as bulky and as, I mean, the knees don't move, but you don't really even need that to move. I mean, his waist turns, the head tilts. Like, you can really get some expressive motions out of that head. Surprisingly mobile for a big figure. And this was a prototype, this is a resin thing that we were dealing with here. When he gets to, his final plastic form, it's going to be, I think, even better. It's great. It's a really, a great design for a big character like this.
And he looks grumpy to begin with. So it probably didn't take him much to get from this sculpt to the new one. I don't know. Someone screwed up his coffee, or he's stepped on a Lego, or who knows, but
really. So that is let's go back here. So there's our head, Slog head. So all we've seen this so far is sitting on a table by itself. But Eric was kind enough, again at the last minute, to allow me to share a new image.
Drum roll.
Of Slog and friends.
Yes.
With this head, this is the only image we have right now of Slog with this head on. So there he is. I mean, come on, how cool does that look? I mean, that grimace, those teeth. Oh, it's so badass.
So expressive, like you said. Yeah, and
So good.
another 1/6 masterpiece.
Absolutely.
Excellent work.
Thank you.
This shot, when you first sent this over, I think I was looking at it on my phone, and you know, it was a little thumbnail that popped up first, and I saw. I'm just even tiny. I was blown away by this thing because it looks somewhere in between a screenshot from a movie and a painting. Like it's just like it's so dramatic.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was trying for, and thank you, and that's, you know, I mean. That's what I go for in these things. But I mean, I'm telling you, it's a weird thing. And I've been saying this. I was on Toying Around a couple weeks ago, and it's like Mr. Allen's show. I mean, these figures and the details and the sculpts are really inspiring. I mean, they're really inspiring. They just
such a
make
joy to shoot. Yeah.
Great stuff. And everybody who really shoots these stuff, I some of the best stuff I see out there now is Mythic Legion shots. We're going to take a look at some later from the community. This shot, these guys almost did me in, the specs, but they're in prototype form. Everybody has to understand prototype form, that they're resin, they're fragile. None of these limbs are really in place, or, you know, the pegs don't really fit into the holes perfectly. It's all prototype stuff. When we get these things in hand, these things are going to be incredible, because they were incredible as it was, and as difficult as they were to deal with in resin form, having to glue pieces on. Oh my God, the engineering, because you can see it. Those wings move, they turn, they rotate, they flap. Not on their own, but they do. They move up and down. The hands that you get with these things, the sculpts, again, the details, the paint on these things. Oh my God, the two-tone paint on them is incredible. I love these guys. I mean, I've said Ziri is my favorite figure, but I think once I get these guys in hand in actuality, I think they're going to take over. Or Slog. I don't know. Yeah. It's all great. The whole freaking line. I love it. I cannot wait.
You deserve.
Eric, you've been working on this conceptually for what? How many years now? This has been.
I mean, in various forms. I mean, potentially well over a decade.
Wow.
I mean, not as a Legion's line, but you know, as a space line. But like some of these characters are in the line now, or that will show up, are things that go back to when I was a kid. Like there's some designs that I think specifically were like from when I was like 11 years old. That
wow,
you know, they will be updated versions of those designs.
Yeah.
And so to see something like this then after all that time, I mean, how's that feel?
Oh, I mean, it's amazing. You know, I count myself as being just so lucky to do what I do in general, and then to be to the stage that we're at as a company now, where we're producing our own concepts and, you know, things just straight out of my head. You know, it doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah, really.
I would, you know, I would love to go back and like show this stuff to myself, you know, an 8 or 9 year old, and, you know, say, yeah, this is what you're doing as a career in the future.
I know, how great.
Well, you've been waiting for decades, and we've known it's been coming for, I don't know, a year plus, and now, you know, we're just chomping at the bit to get these in hand. And what's the next wave? We can't wait as fans. So I mean, so congrats to you
Thank
in the
you.
studio. This is just, I mean, I can't imagine how rewarding it is. And it's just phenomenal work.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I just got to point out, like I've talked about this on other shows too. These arms are articulated. The little insecty arms in the middle are articulated. These are incredible figures.
And those little hands are the same grip size as the standard hand, so they'll be able to hold the weapon.
So you could put this staff in there and the gun in there. Yep, it's going to be amazing. Yeah, it's incredible.
Cannot wait.
Let's take a look at some of the comments here. I've been putting on
eyes and everything. It's just
bring me the head of Oleg Thygar. Yeah, Walt. That's right. Walter's seen them in hand. The colors are incredible. Yeah, I mean, yes, it bugs me when people say the pictures don't do them justice, but I understand. I understand what they're saying, because when you do see them in hand, it is a different experience, and the paint is, you get that you can turn it in the light and you see the paint changing colors and stuff, and everything looks better in hand. It's great. There's a question for you. Is Thygar heavily inspired by Adam Power?
No. That's an interesting one to me, because I mean, I think, I mean, the colors of Power Lords in general, that is just like, that's part of my DNA at this point. So
right,
indirectly, absolutely. Like in my head, orange and blue are sci-fi colors, and so I think indirectly, yes. Like from a color standpoint, but from especially following like the progression of that character, it's something that, like, he's one that goes back to when I was a kid, and I've been drawing versions of that character since before Power Lords was even out. But it is interesting, because I did start seeing that comment pop up. Once the figures were revealed, and so not consciously, but I mean, Power.
It's always in the back of your head, though. If it's been your idea, and orange and blue. I mean, I mean, we could probably go back to the '80s and think of like tons of sci-fi images in comic books and other things that. I think on one of the covers of the Star Wars, they had recolored somebody's. Han Solo was in orange. I mean, it was just like that spacesuit. That spacesuit look has always been sort of orange. I mean, Luke Skywalker's, X-wing suit and pilot suits and things like that. It's just,
If you look at a lot of sci-fi illustration over the years, that those greens versus oranges, or yellows, or blues and oranges, purples and oranges, like it's a very common theme, but it plays so well with sci-fi when you've got the type of cast lighting of space and atmosphere and things like that.
Right.
But Power Lords, I've talked about it many times before. Like, that was such a influential line when I first saw it, because up to that, they grew up on like seeing classic Star Trek and then Star Wars, and it's still very heavily like humanoid characters, people in suits with alien heads and things like that. And when Power Lords showed up on the shelf, they were just so bizarre that it just was like kind of like expanded my mind of what the idea of something that's truly alien could be. I often talk about the Trigor, the creature crusher, like vehicle.
Yeah, I remember that.
Were on the outside of the body, and like it had no real recognizable anatomy. It was a three-legged creature, and like those sorts of things. They stick with you. The same way. Masters of the Universe was such a huge influence on me that. Whether it's conscious or unconscious, it's just part of like my creative outlook on these projects.
Absolutely.
So sometimes, somebody, other people may see it more than I do, because it's, it's more just, coming from someplace deeper than just, purposely trying. If we do an homage, we generally say it's an homage.
Yeah.
But we also spend a lot of time trying to make characters and figures that don't look like things that have been done before.
Right.
Like the idea that we purposely try to copy another character or something like that. It's just not.
Yeah, I know it's and I think you can go around to sci-fi at this point, or especially with the Mythic legions. There's tropes there. There's orcs, there's goblins, there's elves. The sci-fi realm is a little more wide open in terms of, there's not exactly certain specific types of races that are, existent in all forms of sci-fi. But you can go through so many things and say, oh, here's a guy with 4 arms. It's just like this guy. You copy the guy with 4 arms. Like, well, no, it's like, this is our guy. He just happens to have 4 arms.
Right.
And, there's characters that are blue, but it's a color, and we've got so many colors to work with, and this guy's blue. As you said, I think you're going to get crazier and crazier with some of these designs.
But to start out with,
you've got to start out with some things where you can, use some parts that have been there, some things that people understand and will, get them into the line that they can, even if they're, there's a lot of people that are collecting this that I know of that are moving into Cosmic that never got into Mythic because they felt that they were too late to the line and they couldn't go back and get some of the characters that they wanted or whatever. And they're getting into this now. And they're even saying, I'm going to just pick up this guy because it can work with my, in the background of my Star Wars shots, or it can work with, whatever. I can put this on my shelf with my Thor can be battling this guy or something like that. So, I think you got to start out with that kind of stuff and have some things that people can sort of wrap their mind around and get into the lore of the thing before you go nuts and get some really crazy stuff.
Before we get into that evil genius that's up there.
Yeah, that's and I think that's part of what's worked so well with Mythic. It was kind of more the really original intention with Mythic is that the characters and the designs did have a familiarity to them where they almost gave you a nostalgia for something that didn't exist before.
Exactly.
Yep. And that's the balance with these, is to, especially since this is a property that we're bringing in from scratch, is how do you break new ground, but at the same time make it comfortable enough and familiar enough where there's an entry point for people.
Exactly.
Because I think so many people, myself included, buy based off of this kind of love for toys that it's from when we were kids.
Mm-hmm.
So every time a new version of Skeletor comes out or whatever it might be, if you're into that, you're going to get excited about it again.
Pretty much every other day at this point. I think.
It's definitely Fast and Furious right now. So to kind of wedge something that's brand new in there, it's a challenging place to be, and for us took some tries and different lines to really get to that point. And I think that is part of the mix, is just that doing something new, but it's not so new that it's off-putting.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the way you went about it, whether it was, I'm assuming it's just serendipitous that, like, you did start out and Mythic Legions did like kind of capture me in that way, because it was, it's nostalgic. It is the tropes, as original as the look of the figures are. It is the orcs and you've got goblins, and it's like, ooh, I've never had that. That was always something I wanted as a kid. I mean, yes, you had some Dungeons and Dragons, 5-point figures, whatever, but this is always the line that I wanted. And that's what I got. And now, with the sci-fi stuff, I think the timing right now, there's so many companies that are doing, you've got Mezco with the Rumble Society, you've got Acid Rain, Joy Toys doing some stuff that's a little more military based, but like there's a lot of companies coming out, even Super 7 stuff that you guys have worked on with the Worst, coming out with original IPs, original ideas, lines. And I think people are, it's ripe for this. Like just a good looking toy, a well-constructed toy, something that looks great on the shelf and you can move around and comes with great accessories and has details and stuff. It's perfect time, man. It's great. It's good that it came out now. And this is the time where you can introduce new looking types of figures that people don't have that nostalgia for, like you said, that's built into Masters of the Universe and Power Lords and all that stuff from the past.
Mm-hmm.
And the Turtles.
And I think too, we were talking about the maybe not going overboard with the sort of the ideas in your head, and as far as getting too out there with them. And I think you guys have also hit the sweet spot as far as the number of figures released, because I can imagine with everything's being pent up, like you're saying, for decades, right? You just want to spew out another advent of decay, with because you've got so many in your head, but at the same time, you don't want to overwhelm or freak people out. And I think this was a perfect number too.
Yeah, that's what Joseph here is saying is not to do more pricing, but did you have thoughts of doing a 40 figure release? I think those days are kind of over, right? Like, I don't think that's coming back.
It's not good for anybody. It really isn't.
No, it's not.
It's
not.
It's because you go all the way through the process. For us it's a lot of development for us in one shot. Then you send it over to the factory. It's a lot for the factory to keep straight. You ship it here when it's time to ship it out to customers. You're sorting through 40 something figures for pack outs. It's more room for mistakes. It's more if we bring in people to pack boxes, it's just so much for them. There's so many names for them to learn and figure out, and it's
photography.
It's just imagine how you had 11 here.
No, I can't imagine. I don't want to imagine.
Four times that. Come on.
Even writing 43 bios at a time.
Well, that's all that.
Travis having to read 43 bios. Can you imagine?
Oh yeah, exactly. Not only
His
that,
brain would explode. They'd melt.
Exactly.
But as much as we want more, and maybe as much as you want to show, I've got all these ideas, that you've got that experience from knowing that it's just not, it's not the smart way to go.
We're living in a time where there's a new, there's every week there's a new release. There's a new reveal from, a major line, a smaller company. It's
impossible to keep up.
A third party thing. It's like, you can't expect people. Even as it is, like, you time this, you put this out there, and then, Hasbro's off the heels of the Sentinel does Galactus for, $400, $500, whatever the hell it was. And it's like, everybody wants these. And then there's other companies that are coming. Invincible Toys has got their Kickstarter going, and the Animal Kingdom has got their Kickstarter going, and Shartimus Prime has got his Kickstarter going. Every week there's new stuff, and you can't expect people to plunk down. I think the price that you put there for the all-in was perfect, and you don't, have to get the all-in. You know what I mean? Like, you get what you can get. Do what you can do. It's getting easier now, I think, to get these things secondarily. You guys give everybody a chance, which is great later on. I'm not saying wait, but I'm saying, like, if you're heartbroken that you couldn't pick something up, you'll have a chance at it later on.
Yeah.
It's a good amount. 40. I mean, it would just be people crying about how they can't afford this. They can't. They want to get everything, but they're never going to be able to get everything. Yeah, I mean, 10, 11 in a wave is perfect. Yeah, I think it's perfect.
You know what? That's a good segue too. I was going to mention, and to confirm, Eric. So obviously, with the Ziri heads and now Slog's extra heads, if you order those figures, whether it's through the pre-order or from a retailer, you get those. But to get the coin and the extra
Good point.
golden
Yes.
skull kind of head, I forget the name of it. That you have to order through the Four Horsemen pre-order now.
Yes.
The way I understand it. And correct me if I'm wrong, you can order the all-in, 5 all-ins, or just one figure, and you get those extras, correct?
Yes. Yeah. That's what was something we wanted to do, something that was just like made this inaugural sale something special. So yeah, even if you're just in for a single figure, you get that coin, you get that skull. It's a cool piece to have.
Yeah.
That this is something that we are actually discussing today and trying to figure out is, whether or not, what we do with retailers when we move to the retailer portion of this, this wave. And, we're talking about those items might show up in a different way down the road, but in this particular form, this is the one shot to get it. We just want to make it special. It's something
special, yeah.
Not really like not essential to the line. It's not like we put a character that you'll never see again. The coin is bonus, and then that skull will show up again in some other form. But it just has that that commemorative look and feel to it.
That's what I like about what you guys do. It's I like the fact that you don't do exclusive figures that you can't get anywhere else unless you go to PowerCon or you go to New Jersey or something like that. It's everybody wants to be a completist, and I get that can create a buzz, I suppose. Really, sometimes I don't know what the point of it is. These little items that you can get that aren't, like you said, aren't essential to the line. It's not like I'm missing a figure that I can only get here. You can find them later on. People are always selling things and stuff. It's just like, this is for people who could get in on the Kickstarter and got them now. And it's just a bonus piece. It's not something that you have to have. It is nice to have, though.
Yeah, it's a great incentive.
I do like about that.
I think commemorate is the perfect word for it. It's a great commemorative piece to say, yeah, hey, I was there from the beginning.
All right.
Yeah, that way.
I have to ask about the rings because there's like 17. Okay, so the rings. I mean, I'm looking at the hologram that comes with, I think it's Ziri, comes with the little Saturn-like hologram, and I'm assuming that that's the sun of the system. And there are rings around it with sort of systems and planets in those rings. Is that close?
Yeah, the rings are like essentially the different sectors of the system.
Okay.
And so they're broken into bands or rings. And we'll get more into that.
I figured. Yeah.
The story goes forward, but it builds a little bit of structure to our world of Cosmerium. It also sets some of the political climate and things of that nature up as well. And something that we didn't have here for the launch, which this was something that showed up a lot later in Mythic as well. I hope that it won't be as long of a wait, but I loved it when we were able to add the map to Mythic.
Yes. Yeah.
And so that's something that hopefully sooner than later we'll actually introduce the map of Cosmerium.
Cool.
And, that way we can, everybody can start visualizing where all of this is taking place. And it might be something where it's kind of a living map where as elements are added in the bios and things are revealed, you might see a new planet pop up or a new space station or, maybe a subsector or something like that.
Cool. Nice.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I guess it helped, maybe for lack of a better word when we're talking about space, but it helps ground everything.
Yes.
Yeah. Just don't get too political. Let's not do like a council wave.
No, that's
it's just
no, that's definitely
go, Brandon.
We've had that sort of stuff before. No, I don't think it would ever go that way.
Yeah, we've all learned from the prequels not to do that. A galaxy, a solar system, or bigger? Walter wants to know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It seems like a system to me, but I'm sure you could go beyond that too.
Right. What we're the main focus, at least initially in the story, is on a system.
Right.
There's at least in what's written. I don't remember if it's in the bios or not, but there is talk about what's beyond the ring.
Mm-hmm.
And certainly that's something that by not getting into excessive detail about what's going on in those other parts of space, then that allows for interesting ads later on.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the Galactic
That's on the red
Senate,
sticky notes, right?
Hey, speaking of so you've been talking about some of these things that you've had in mind since you were 11 years old. And I think somebody mentioned it earlier in one of the comments. I passed by it, so I can't find it. But have you ever thought about, or maybe this is something that's in the works, maybe you can't talk about this, but I think people would love to see even those drawings, like even 11-year-old Eric's, drawings of things that you have around. I think that would make just something to think about. I think that'd make an incredible book of, behind the scenes, some of your sketches. I've seen some of your sketches. I know you've shared them.
And doodles and yeah,
you've shared them at G-Con, I think, and super cool. I love seeing, the behind the scenes of the thought process that went into things.
Mm-hmm.
So
that'll definitely happen at some point. I'm actually right here next to me. I've got an old notebook with some of those, so that when there's a particular group of characters that come out, we'll definitely do a blog post with that in it.
Feel free to hold it up right now if you'd like to.
It's not going to look like much. It's going to look like but it that's one of the parts of this that has been nice, again, because Mythic just rolled out so differently, and with this line we've had the all the experience of putting Mythic out, at one point putting together a pitch Bible, all of that kind of stuff. And so going into this one, we had such a different approach. We had all of our, photography with you set up, well ahead of time, so we could actually do some really special images to come out with it, all the stuff with the website way ahead of time. And with the blog posts that Jeremy's been putting up with the figure and focus articles on the characters, we've been putting some of that behind the scenes type stuff. And it's been so nice with Cosmic because we're doing some of that from the beginning. So by the time, we're a year or two into this, we're going to have so much archive material that, at some point we can put together, a nice retrospective all in one shot. Right.
Very cool.
The art of
very
Cosmic
cool.
Legions.
So one more question. I can't believe we've already been almost an hour. I was going to try and keep Eric here for 30 minutes. I told him it's been an hour. One quick last thing. Legions Con coming up. You guys are going to be there.
Yep.
we expecting some new stuff to show up in and around Legions Con. G-Con is right there before it, right that weekend. So
Well,
G-Con is always some sort of reveal. So we're going to see something.
Yeah, what's Thursday is Intern for a day.
Oh, that's right.
Friday's G-Con, Saturday's Toy Con, Sunday is Legions Con. So
hell of a weekend.
That's Mythic weekend.
So G-Con's 1 month from tomorrow. Hard to believe.
Wow.
I'm well aware.
Yeah, me too.
As soon as I'm done here, I'm back to work. But yeah, so yeah, there will be some there'll be something cool for that weekend. Hopefully a lot of cool stuff.
Awesome.
It's
in the Mythic realm, right?
Yeah, well, hopefully just Legions in general. But because even each one of those events, we got to make sure that we do something special for the interns. And then G-Con has its own flavor and its own set of parameters that we want to make sure it's an exciting online event for people. And then for us, Saturday is going to be kind of a selling day with in the general Toy Con and a lot. I mean, I think most of the people for Legions Con will probably be out there, so it'll also be a pre-party,
right? Exactly.
And then then Sunday is going to be crazy. I mean, we can't wait to see what that's going to look like.
We're all going to be exhausted.
We'll be riding high, man. That Monday
it's going to be great.
And then Monday is a day off. That's it.
Oh, hell yeah. Right? Hell yeah, I'm taking that day off. Good day. Lord.
Well, I'll be traveling with the My Wife is going to kill me crew from Michigan, right. Eric. So I'll be I'll look very forward to meeting all of you guys in person.
Absolutely. That'll be great. Yeah, that's going to be fun.
Well, thank you, my friend, for coming on. I appreciate it. I know it was a little last minute. This was great, and I kept you longer than I said I was going to keep you, but great chat. Appreciate you letting me show the new villains image. Look for that tomorrow. That'll be up on IG and the Facebooks and everything, YouTubes and Twitter, maybe. I don't know. I'll put it up on Twitter. And more stuff to come, apparently. So keep your eye on the prize, man, and get in there and get your order what you can, all in if you can. Whatever, get those bonuses and more to come. Very exciting. October 22nd?
4th, I think.
24th is your last day to get in. We tell everybody to get in. This is the time to get in. Don't wait for retail. Down the line you'll be able to get them after their release, but it's not always easy. So get them now.
It's your guarantee.
It's your guarantee.
It's
what other company guarantees you? You know what I mean? That's the thing.
That's what these days it's. We try to give a decent window of time for people to get in. It's you guarantee that you're gonna get it, and you guarantee that you're not paying aftermarket prices.
Right.
So yeah, I mean it's there's a lot of good times to buy, but this is, if you can do it now, it's a great time to do it.
Right.
Well, thanks so much, Eric. Pleasure speaking with you.
Really appreciate it. I'm going to let you go to bed or get back to work.
Cheers
apparently.
From the lounge.
Yeah.
Cheers. Yeah, it's
ding.
All right.
I will be talking to you hopefully very soon.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, take care.
Excellent.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank you.
All right.
Treadaway,
have a good night.
Yeah.
Take care.
Wow.
That was cool.
That was so
Very
awesome.
Cool.
What a way to kick off Legion's Lounge.
Right? I mean, with the one and only, man, the creator, the man behind the myth and the Cosmerium myth and legend. How many people we got? We got 30 people in the chat.
Nice.
You want to do a giveaway?
Hell yes. Let's do it. Look at that. Giveaway. Red Shield Soldier. Say that 5 times fast after hanging out in the lounge for an hour.
So I'm told that this is becoming a commodity, I guess.
I believe it is. He's such a versatile figure. I mean, so much you can do with him.
29 people. All right, come on. Giveaway time. Let's go. Everybody who's in here. All right. Question. I need a question. I think I have a question. And you inspired it. So I'm going to say go. Don't answer until I say go. I'm going to ask the question. I'm going to say go. So I'm going to give everybody like a few seconds to think about it. What is the name of the race of people? Is Eric still here? Hey. I just figured you're still here. I'm going to bring you into the giveaway. What is the race of people? Or there's a race, not people. There is a race that the gold skull that is one of the giveaways, one of the bonus pieces. What is the name of that race? All right, and go. First person with the name of the race for the gold skull. What race is that gold skull is from? Everybody's racing to mythiclegions.com right now, desperately trying to find the page with the lore on it, scanning it. Anthony doesn't care because it's not a dwarf.
How do you know?
Wait, this isn't a dwarf, or that race isn't a dwarf? You don't care about. How do you know they're not dwarves?
That's
they
what
could
I
be
said.
Dwarves, man. You don't even know. Not a skeleton. No. It may. I'm gonna go. Should we go with spelling, or do we have to? Are we?
I mean, that's correct. It's not the same spelling, but I mean.
Okay. Who was in first with that? Because I see Lebo Fett and I see time.
Time 2 with a 10:28. Lebo was a 10:29.
All right. Time to Henshin.
Congrats,
you
man.
got it, man. You got it.
Awesome.
Red Shield Soldier. That's yours. DM me on Instagram at 16_shooter, and I'll set up the shipping to you.
Awesome.
Cool.
Congratulations, man.
That's a great figure. Excellent figure.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on for that again. Do you want to stick around, because we're gonna just take a look at some community picks really quick?
Sure.
And all right, cool. All right. I thought you might want to get out of here, but that's cool. I love it.
While you're bringing those up, my God, I'm just looking at the Legion's Cons guest list. 4, 8, 12, 16. I mean, it goes on and on and on and on.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's going to be
fantastic.
Yeah.
And
great talent.
It's especially encouraging too, because the list looks that good, and it's some of the people that we invited that I think will absolutely be at future shows. There's a lot of people who aren't traveling just due to the the pandemic.
Sure.
So I think that the fact that we've got that great of a turnout, that's encouraging. Like, so I mean, it's fingers crossed. Things get back to normal.
Right.
This is just the tipping
Tip
point.
of the iceberg. Right? Totally. Yeah.
It's going to be a better turnout than New York Comic Con was. That was a wasteland.
Oh, that was wild seeing some of that.
Yeah, it was a little. I mean, there was no Marvel. Hasbro doesn't usually come there. No Funko, no Sideshow, no Mezco, no Bluefin. I think wasn't there either. It was really weird. Yeah, it was kind of weird, and I don't know what it is. I mean, like, quite frankly, I'll give you props again, because you're a little ahead of your time. In that, you guys, I remember, San Diego G-Con came out of not wanting to, travel to San Diego Comic-Con and drag all the stuff there and people and frankly, companies are learning that, you can do this stuff online and you can have a great, sort of promotional con and giveaways and interaction and fun with people without having to go to a convention. I mean, I love conventions. I love seeing you guys at the Jersey Toy Show. And I know you've done New York Comic-Con in some form or fashion before, but it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And the bigger companies can do that, but I think even they're discovering that there may be more of a direct connection with people. I'll be sad if it turns out that way and people don't go to cons anymore. But it is an interesting thought.
For us, I think also it was San Diego is becoming expensive and just the hassle of hotels and all that. But it also kind of happened at the same time where we started to discover how much more fun we were having at smaller shows. Yeah. I mean, ToyCon New Jersey is so much fun every time we go. It's just, it's a great size because it's there's a lot of life, a lot of energy. There's a lot of great stuff there. But it's not out of control. You're not lost in the
overwhelming.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like shows like that and ZoloCon, PowerCon's always been a great show for us. And they're just not these shows that you're just getting swallowed up into the masses. And it's, it's not even just so much crowds. It's that people are more willing to stop and talk. And
I was just going to say that, you're getting your fans there as opposed to just people swarming by and like, what can I grab that's rare or an exclusive, or I can, turn around and sell on eBay. I mean, there's real people that are willing to wait in very, very hot temperatures outside to then wait inside in very hot temperatures to get some of these figures and to see you guys in person and to talk to you and tell you how much they like the line and stuff like that. So it is really nice. I mean, I've always thought smaller venues in every respect were better for most things.
And the fact that you guys appreciate and welcome that interaction is, I think, pretty unique, I think, too, and so it makes it a lot more special that way. But the fact that you can do both, that you can have an in-person thing, which I don't think you can beat, but at the same time do a virtual meet and greet for those people who can't make it is it's ideal for everybody.
Yeah, putting that online. I mean, it's grown and gotten better every year. I was there on one of the first ones on YouTube, and then you guys had me out for I don't know which one it was, but I know you've been doing it for a while. But it was my second one, anyways, that I had seen, which was a lot of fun. And it was, it was great on YouTube. Just sitting. It's like, oh, it's Taco Bell time. Like I'm gonna go out and get some Taco Bell too. And join everybody.
It's very genuine and real, and I love it.
Exactly. Yeah. Even if it's gotten a little more polished over the years, it's still very genuine and real. That's what I love about it.
There's always still a typo with us or something.
Right. Hey, the fact that you did Cosmic from your hotel room with Eric sitting in the background, Cornboy on the bed. I was like,
that's great.
Mean, how much more real does it get than that?
Figures falling apart.
Right. I love it.
That's great. All right, so we're going to take a look at some images that Nate and I curated from maybe the Myth and Fantasy Toy Pick hashtag on there. So use that. That used to be a regular thing, but I think everybody's still kind of using it in relationship to. And it doesn't have to all be Mythic Legions, but we're focusing on Mythic Legions here. Some great stuff. This one from Fatboy18. He's posted on the Cabal a lot, I know. Because I recognize his type over the top of it, which is nice.
Very nice.
I just thought this was really cool. Sense of motion, really nice focus on the face. Very cool.
It's been cool for us to watch because Belphegor was one that got a lot of complaints early on, and
I remember that.
Somewhat of a lack of enthusiasm, and then
Wow.
Mhm.
as soon
I
as
couldn't
people
wait to
start
get this back.
photographing it, like, I mean, I see him probably photograph more than Arethyr,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
people are doing amazing stuff with him. I mean, like,
Yeah,
this
Belphegor is
awesome.
the Boba Fett, I think, of is he the Boba Fett, or would that be Magnus? No, it's got to be Belphegor. Belphegor is he's the badass.
And this is
I love this one.
Great depth.
Koike Toys, just great depth on this. The army building here, fantastic. Kudos on that, getting all those little armored goblins and stuff, and just the sense of motion. Love Noglin coming down the steps like that. Really
regal.
good. He's not just standing up there, he's actually putting a foot forward and moving down with the staff. That I love that stuff. I love details like that. Really, really good. Nice light.
These are like, you start getting like that world building aspect too.
Exactly.
You feel like you're just seeing a little glimpse of a giant scene here.
Exactly. Yeah, I love these big scenes like this. I love doing them. I mean, they're a challenge to do, but I love seeing them because, yeah, exactly that. It's like you can have a couple figures fighting, and it's like those individual figures. But then you see this with an army of goblins and their king coming down in the middle of them. It's like really gives you a sense of just the
scale,
story and scale. You know what I mean, to this storyline. It really, really makes it like, oh yeah, this really is like there's a kingdom and there's a whole bunch of goblins. Really good, really, really nice shot, nice and crisp. Toys and photography, man. Davey, awesome sense of depth there. Now this isn't all Mythic Legions. Obviously, this foreground figure, I did something like this with the Boss Fight Studios with one of the trolls and stuff. But man, it's great.
It's great scales, yeah.
And the ogre is the figure in focus here with the light. I just really love the light that's hitting it behind that. I don't know what's going on behind there. It looks almost intriguing, as like there's something else like standing behind him. But I guess that's just a structure. But
this just has
very cool.
That classic fantasy, like, Frazetta type little warrior against a giant monster shot. Like, just everything about that's great.
The focus is great. I love that he's a little out of focus. The ogre's a little out of focus, but enough there to get some details and to see, what he is. That's it's
that backlight low there is awesome.
Yep. I think I got him in here twice. Or at least not. This is really cool. I love this one. This was really interesting custom head. I don't know whose head that is he's got on the knight there, but just nice composition.
Yep, great stuff in the background.
Is that head from that new? I can't remember. I think it's like a version of Thor.
It is a Thor, right? Yeah, it's got to be a Thor.
More like kind of modern clothing.
Oh, is that? Oh God, yeah. What's his name? It's a storyline I didn't read, but I think you're right.
No, that's a hammer.
I think you're right.
Yeah,
does he say what it is? No, he doesn't.
Thunderstrike.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
So there's, in the background, there's more Mythic than there is in the foreground. It's a little more Hasbro there. Another great. There you go, Belphegor again. Another great use of this. I love this mashup. This is fantastic. So good.
Very cool about the wingspan in that shot.
Yeah.
It's
having those wings up like that.
Yeah. It's just bleed off frame.
Yeah. It looks like something off of a 70s album cover. Like it's
D&D.
Got a great vibe.
Should be Molly Hatchet right here.
Yeah.
On the side of a van.
Yes. Oh my God, Belphegor would have been like the ultimate fantasy image.
Fantasy.
I'm not even going to try and pronounce this name at this point in time. Sorry, Sus Tihoru Wimsbang. Sorry, butchered that, but really cool shot. Some more playing with scale with some boss fight stuff. Just nice, really nice.
Yep.
Great action.
Cool dial piece in the background.
Mm-hmm. Nice and crisp. Just thought this was kind of cool. You don't see just a close up sometimes is nice. You know what I mean? Like I do them, but like there's not a lot of, for product stuff, but like there's not a lot of stuff that you see that's just kind of closes in on a figure. And this is a great looking figure.
Yeah, exactly.
Looks like he lit up the eyes a little bit in Photoshop, which makes it, adds a little.
But there's so many details to appreciate with these figures. So to get in tight like
that's
that
the thing.
Is so. It's vital to do that once in a while.
Little rule of thirds composition there. Nice bouquet in the background there, which is nice.
You don't see this guy a lot either, so
you don't, and it's a great figure. It's a great looking figure. I love the Shadow Elves. It's another nice sense of motion here. Looks like the ground's a little wet too. I just like the light. The light looked it's different, you know what I mean? Just like a sort of a morning light to this. Very cool.
The monochromatic scheme's nice too. It's almost looks black and white.
Yeah, he did desaturate this quite a bit. Yeah, you're right. Yep. I like it. And this was our mutual pick here. This is Nate and ours. This is Sean. Beautiful, man. Yeah. Love this. I mean, I love the skeletons, and this is just another great sense of motion and depth here. He's really got some great depth going on here.
Yeah, he talks about that in his post too, and I'm super excited. I mean, Sean's one of my buddies, and he's such an amazing talent. And the fact that he says he's very slowly building his Mythic collection gets me so damn excited. Yes. Yep. Love it.
Yeah, we were talking early on when he was getting into these things, and I was playing the encourager and enabler.
Yeah, he sent me a text or a DM the other day when he got some stuff in from Big Bad, asking what those, everyone asks the first timers, what are those extra things that come in the back? The wing adapters. What the hell are those things?
Don't worry about it. Put those aside for now.
This one's cool because there's a dynamic to it that it really reminds me of a comic book cover. Just the way that the skeletons are stacked, and the one in the front is like really in the foreground, like the title logo up behind that one at the top, like very cool.
Yeah, he shot this.
I tend to shoot super shallow depth of field, so to see something like this is very inspiring and something I got to try more often.
Yeah, this is tricky. This is something where you kind of do. I probably, if I'd set this up, I wouldn't have shot it at this depth and just would have let that guy in the front be a little out of focus. But I do like the fact that he's in focus. That's how you get that comic book feel, where everything is sort of at least somewhat sharp. And I just really like the background he picked. The clouds are great. And the key to anything like this is matching, your light to that background. That's what, I've said in a couple of videos that I have here on the channel. You gotta, like, if there's sunlight coming from the background on this thing, that's where your key light's gotta be. It's gotta be coming from that direction. He nailed it. It looks great.
Yeah.
Another cool shot. I love the tint on this. The blue. I mean, blue and pink is a great combination for anything. But I just really like the way he framed him, Pizza Lover Mac on the background image without even having that too close. He's got a sense of depth with that, and it still has enough of a light coming from that doorway or whatever that sort of frames him. This is a great figure.
It's such a great figure, and I've tried a few times to capture him, and I've yet to do it. I haven't been able to get him the way I want him. Yeah, I keep trying. I'm just not happy with it, so I keep coming back. I'll get it one of these days, but this is very inspiring. So yeah, it's great to share it.
It's another one. Go ahead.
You said earlier, that the photos don't do the figures justice, but that's not. I mean, I see these photos, and it's not true. Sometimes they do them more justice than they deserve in a way. Like it's this brings it to life. Like
that's the thing. I think it does. Like I think when you haven't seen it and you haven't had it in hand, I think a good photograph will entice you to want to have it and see it. And once you get it in hand, you just look at the details that you can't see in a picture. But yeah, they bring it to life. I mean, that's the thing. That's the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, every detail isn't there, but it pulls you in, and it just makes the figure look, enticing, and just has depth and character and feel and motion. And yeah, I mean, that's what a good photo will do. This is a great photo. Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
I love this pitchfork sort of being a little out of focus too. It's perfect depth. Really nicely done. Couple more here. Just like this as a group shot. Also a tough thing to do, man.
Sure is.
And it's a night shot.
Well done.
I really like the backlighting on this. The blue backlighting really, really works. And, you can still see, details in the characters without being overly bright, which is also, a tricky thing to do, and did it really, really nicely.
Those reds pop really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Blue in there. That's cool.
And he's got Malfoy in the background, right? Yeah. Up there flying in the air, which is nice. I was going to do that in the shot. And
that's what I keep trying to do with them. And like I said, I can't. I haven't been able to nail it yet. We'll get there.
He requires some space. I mean, that's the thing. Like, to have them, if you're going to show him and kind of get the idea that he's actually flying in the air. I tried to have him deep in the background of a shot. I don't remember what shot it was. But it was tough. I couldn't get him far enough away to really get him in the way I had it set up in the shot. So I think I just pulled him out. But I will get it. I will get it one of these days. Another really nicely lit shot. Another, good. Followed the background. You got some storm clouds up there in the back with the light kind of, pushing through in one space. And that light is coming from the same direction that this light is coming from. It's really nice, clean, sharp. And of course it's Army of Odysseus, which is my favorite faction. So there you go.
Yeah. And you don't see Red Shield shot with that helmet too often. So it's super cool to see that.
It's a great helmet. Everybody loves that helmet too. And you don't.
It's awesome. I know.
Too often. Yeah. It's just a nice trio, very nice composition. It zigzags from, I don't know if you can even see my mouse, but from here, bounce, bounce, bounce. It just really pulls your eye through the photo, which is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Good shot. Thought this was cool. Just it caught my eye. Just the different way he's got him posed, sort of looking up, and
I missed this one. That's very cool.
Yeah, just
different. I love it.
There's something about the atmosphere of this. It reminds me of the scenes in Legend where they were down in Darkness's lair. Like it's that
I think that's it.
Hot
Reference.
The heat of the flame, but also that like kind of like crystally shiny look, with the atmosphere.
Yeah, he's got some little sparks coming up around here. Yeah, it's really I just like the way he had his head tilted. I mean, he's really pushing that off the ball joint, but it's working. It's not killing the look of it, which is nice.
Totally unique take on it.
Just really hot, and that's it suits the character of the figure. So Lens does great. Len does great stuff, man. He's done a lot of great Mythic Legion shots. He's great with shadow and light, and just this is probably one of his brighter shots. Actually, like a lot of times, it's just lightly lit, and it's I just love it. It's great. It's bold. It's bold stuff that he does. Follow the Myth and Fantasy toy
picks. I think picks with an S. Yeah.
Toy picks. So. Toy picks. Hashtag. Check it out. I think it's every Monday they put some stuff out. And I've been trying to keep up with it, but I don't always manage to. But some great stuff. It inspires a lot of people, man. It's a great line. And great stuff coming out of here. More and more, I'm seeing better and better stuff, which makes me want to up my game, so I can keep possible? My job. So that's it, man. We're coming up on 11 o'clock. We had some news and stuff that we were talking about, but I think we'll save that for next week. There's some sales out there. My Action Figure Customs. I know Legion Shop just put some new stuff up.
Yesterday.
Check them out.
Yeah.
Jeremy's show on Wednesday. I'm sure he'll have some cool stuff. And join us again in 2 weeks. We're going to do this every other week. I'll have it posted probably a day before on the YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe. We are at 1,000 for you toy photographers out there. At 1,000 subscribers. Let me bring this off here. Stop the screen. Going to be giving away this Loom Cube set kit. It's got 2 Loom Cubes, all sorts of accessories and modifiers and things in this beautiful case. So we'll be giving that away at 1,000 subscribers. Next time on the show, we'll probably have another giveaway if we can get some people in here. Appreciate everybody showing up, man. We had a good showing tonight. And Eric, once again, thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Thanks again, Eric, and appreciate you coming back and hanging out too. And great fun.
Dragging him back in from the green room. I'm sorry, I pulled you away from all the snacks that we had for you in the green room. All right, so thanks everybody for coming. Join us again 2 weeks. Follow us, Nate Corona 4 on Instagram. What else are you doing, Nate? What do you got coming up? Anything cool? Any cool shots? No pressure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Always cool shots. Follow him on the Cabal too. He's always posting the Cabal. I'm on the Cabal, 16shooter, 16_ shooter on IG, Twitter, and all the rest. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Right on. Yep. Thanks, everybody.
Take care, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
To the lounge.